the International Rainbow Push broadcast. We're so glad you're tuning in this morning. We welcome you on the Impact Network. We welcome you on live stream on Facebook. I need you to text somebody, tweet somebody, let them know that Rainbow Push is alive. I want you to go on Facebook and take us live on your regular cell phones. The push is on. Today, we are excited because our African Methodist Episcopal pastors are joining us in the broadcast this week. We have Bishop Reginald Jackson, who is joining us this week. We had a powerful recap of part 2 of the celebration of the Queen of Soul, and you're going to see a little bit of that right now.
Senior pastor of the Douglas Memorial Community Church in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm here in the Clay Evans Chapel at the Rainbow Push headquarters. Our history, social justice movements have been birthed in the imaginations of people in places just like this, spaces where faith is expressed and service is inspired. People of faith, whether icons of scripture like Moses, Esther, and Jesus, or soldiers of the modern movement like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Clay Evans, Reverend Willie Barrow, or Reverend Jesse Jackson, committed themselves to doing justice work. Their efforts advanced. Join Rainbow Push as we continue to do justice in the 21st century. Faith and justice still do go together. To join the movement, go to rainbowpush.org or dial 773-FREEDOM. And remember, keep hope alive.
Respect me, protect me, never neglect me. I am somebody. Aretha started as a teenager. Reverend Jackson started as a young adult college student. Dr. King started fresh out of college. They changed the world, and so can you.
Chicago Public Schools is partnering with Rainbow Push Coalition. I want to make sure everybody takes a look at the 2 pledges that are behind me. We will be.
Annette Rainwater, founding member of Operation Breadbasket, Operation Push, and our own custodian, James Stennis, who is recovering from surgery. On a more positive note, those of you who are in the Chicagoland area, we encourage you to visit the African Festival. Co-chairs, they call him he called him the Grand Boobah, and so you will see and hear from him maybe on Labor Day, I don't know, but you might want to go to the African Festival, which is in Washington Park. Stay tuned right now for the announcements. Good morning. We're delighted that you're joining this week's Saturday Morning International Community Forum. Thank you, family, for joining us each and every week. There will never be another queen. People from all walks of life pay respect. R-E-S-P-E-C-T to the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, this week in Detroit. We thank her for her music. We thank her for her commitment to social justice.
She never stopped singing. She never stopped serving. I love her so much, and it's just hard to let her go. If we have long lines to celebrate death and short lines for voting, let me say to you today, who are the living, this is not for Aretha, this is for us. If you leave here today, Aretha.
Today, we ask that you extend your prayers as we extend our prayers to the family of Mrs. Willie Mae Jordan, mother of Bonita Parker. We are praying for the family of Robert Johnson on the passing of his wife. On a positive note, congratulations to Miss Ellen Dickey. You see her at the front desk. She has been here 15 continuous years. Happy birthday to our own Michelle Chambers, Program Director of Push for Excellence. Well, it's back to school. I got my book bag on. And this week, we distributed 1,000 book bags full of supplies to our students in Atlanta, Chicago, Detroit, and Silicon Valley. Students and parents, it's your time to shine. It's your time to push for excellence. If the mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, your child can achieve it. Form a parent-teacher joint venture. Take the pledge today. You know when we vote, we win. I'm so excited. Congratulations to Tallahassee Mary, or if you're in LA, join Reverend Jackson as he celebrates his 77th birthday. Or you can join. Why are you smiling yet? I know some of you have been smiling. You're going to Amazon Smile. You ought to feel good about buying book bags, making donations. Every time you shop, some money has come to Push for Excellence. Well, maybe you don't shop. Well, text the word PUSH to 41444. Or go to rainbowpush.org and just join Push today. Next week, meet us in Chicago as we celebrate the life and work of former Secretary General Kofi Annan. And now, stay tuned. The Push is on. It's on, and we're challenging every 0.2 million be eligible to vote. Principals, wherever you are, school districts, wherever you are, we want every eligible high school senior to register and vote. For example, in Illinois, we have 158,000 high school seniors. We expect at least 50% or more of them will be 18 by November 6th. We want every high school senior not only registered, but voting for an end to student loan debt. We know that African Americans have the power to turn this election around. We have 8 million unregistered African Americans across this nation. If we just register and vote our conscience, as Reverend Jackson has said, we win when we vote. Look at Florida. Well, we have some exciting information that will follow. We have this young lady. She's a representative of Push for Excellence, our oratorical program that is going around the country. It is going to be in Detroit. It's going to be in Atlanta. And to show you what it means, we have Lalani Jenkins, a
Good morning, Rainbow Push. Today I will be reciting Do It Anyway by Mother Teresa. People are often unreasonable, self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will succeed. May cheat you. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building, someone could destroy overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, be happy anyway. The good you do today, forget tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give the world the best you've got anyway. You see, in the final analysis, it's all between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. Please, Rainbow Push, please join me in welcoming Reverend Jesse L. Jackson. Somebody. Oh, I am somebody. I am somebody. Hey, you can turn and walk away, but at the end of this day,
somebody. I am somebody. Respect me, protect me, never neglect me. My mind is a pearl. I can learn anything in the world if my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it. I know I can achieve it. I am somebody. I am God's child. Stop the violence. Save the children. Stop the violence. Save the children. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. keep hope alive. Put your hands together. Spread all over the country, much of the week, last week in Detroit. The painful, life-going celebration of Aretha Franklin on yesterday, and put her in the mausoleum at 10 o'clock last night. From the church to the cemetery was about 10 miles. It was like a huge Bud Billiken Day parade. People left their homes and their street lives. She was 13 when Emmett Till was killed. She knew real pain, not just private pain. 21 when Medgar Evers was killed, she knew pain. She knew the and so we Aretha Franklin, and let's give a big hand for her service. Because we have two special guest speakers, I'm not going to talk long today, but one of the observations I made, we were there for Rosa Parks' life celebration. Rosa Parks had moved from Montgomery to Detroit. The lines, long lines, 3 and 4 blocks deep to look at her lie in repose. We got to the Grace Church with Bishop Ellis as pastor, packed people all out in the streets. Yes, Aretha Franklin, lie in repose, blocks long, up and down the streets. Long lines, look at the remains of martyrs, must somehow be challenged by short lines for voting. If long lines look at the dead and short lines to vote, something is missing. And yet, we need not despair. There's a massive upheaval around the country. In Michigan, for example, as an African American on the tickets for lieutenant governor. Against these odds, we keep on fighting back. Gillum, an African American, won the nomination for governor in Florida. An African American woman, Stacey, in Georgia. An African American on Ben Jealous on the ticket in Maryland. Espy running for Senate in Mississippi. There's a massive upheaval around this country. It manifests itself in several ways. One way we saw the issue in Ferguson, Missouri, when Trayvon Martin had been killed, and we'd seen the beating of Rodney King, and blacks killed without legal consequences, like it was killing us for sport. Somebody hashtag Black Lives Matter. Well, Black Lives and we were fighting. We still do not have, Bishop, a federal anti-lynching bill. We still do not have a federal anti-lynching bill today. And so until there's justice in this place. Not self-manipulation one against the other. If you don't want to march, pray for those who do march. If you want to adjust, pray for those who are maladjusted. The one thing worse than slavery, and that's to adjust. If you're happy with 20% unemployment in 9 communities in Chicago, then adjust and be quiet. But somebody is concerned when they close 50 public schools.
I want to thank God for the life and soul of the Queen of Soul, Miss Aretha Franklin, a woman that with her God, that was in touch with her people, that had a commitment to all of us. She didn't ask to be the queen. That was a title that was bestowed upon her because of her service that she had offered to so many. That makes her the queen when you're willing to have a benevolent to life and not a taker. When she says that black people made her money, and through that money that she had, because of her talent and her gift in music, she could give back to her people. And she could invest in civil rights. That's what makes her stand above other singers and songwriters and entertainers and performers. She was a giver to her people. Reverend Evans always told us, your time, your talent, and your treasure. Make sure you give some of those, he tells me all the time. Give of your time, give of your talent, and give of your treasure. That's a message for everyone today. On this day in 1976, September 1st, it was recognized for Fortsburg, St. John, where the first successful slave rebellion happened in the year of 1717. Why is that important? Because we've never stopped fighting as a people. It was in 1894, after the Pullman strike, where the black Pullman workers on the south side of Chicago, where everyone was called Charlie, where the black workers could not join the white union, that America recognized the value of a Labor Day. Labor Day starts in Chicago with the Pullman porters. Now here we are in 2018, 50 years after the Reverend Martin Luther King has died. 50 years later, we have to do an assessment. We've seen that our queen has died. God bless Barbara Bush, and God bless. But America has a dual, contradictory, hypocritical sense of history. How can you praise the great Muhammad Ali, who was anti the war, and then extol the virtues you say of those that fought in a war? How can you talk about Mrs. Franklin's commitment to civil rights and talk about those that fought against civil rights in the state of Arizona? It's a consistent, dual, paradoxical, contradictory, hypocritical kind of mindset. Why is that important? We have to bring our children in so we can teach them that we've been a fighting and a loving people our entire life. Now, here is a voice that I am going to introduce today. I want you to know the fight is not over. What do I mean by the fight is not over? When Miss Franklin saw that Emmett Till was killed, something was stirred in her soul where she could never look back and never church of her father, New Bethel, and always gave out food and did concerts to keep that church alive. I remember meeting Mr. B.B. King. He always went back to Jackson, Mississippi to stay with his friend, Medgar Evers. He went there 49 out of 50 years. No matter where he was in the world, he went back to Jackson. Are you going to go back and remember and reclaim and help anyone? Let us not forget where we've come from. It's been 50 years. Why don't you bring your children in here? They need a civics education. They need a Sunday school education. And they need a school education.